Hey everyone, let me start off this video with saying I'm not crazy or insane. I got a pretty good understanding of life. But what I want to talk about today is basically some things that I have personally experienced, and well, I had promised some friends that I was going to do this, that I would talk about maybe a couple things. And so I thought, well, hey, today's a good day since I haven't got any internet. It's down. Anyway, I had talked previously to some friends about experiencing paranormal activity and stuff when I was a kid, and when I got older too. And well, if you've looked at my channel, you'll notice that I have an interest in the paranormal, and I actually belong to a paranormal research group, which now actually has a channel on live video that we're running, hoping to put some of what we're capturing now up there and to talk about with other people. But today I'm going to talk about one time, the first time I've ever experienced anything, and it just led to many, many more times afterwards, but not with the same thing. But anyway, when I was 2.5 years old, my grandfather passed away. That would be back in '63, July of '63 to be exact. And after he passed away, my grandmother had to sell her home, and she moved in with my family, my mom. My mom wasn't married at the time. But my grandmother, anyways, moved in with us, and she brought a couple of pieces of her furniture with her, one of them being my grandfather's favorite chair. And it's kind of comfortable. Well, it didn't happen right away, but probably within a couple of years after my grandmother passed, I remember sitting on the couch behind my grandmother when she was I think she was trying to nap, and my mother wasn't home at the time, and I think that was her way of watching me, so I wouldn't go off and do something. So I'm thinking I was probably about 4 years old at this time. I don't remember what time of year it was or anything like that. I don't know how long after he passed away, but I remember I was laying behind her, kind of half leaning on her, but laying behind her, and I heard a sound which made me kind of sit up and look, and I looked over at the chair that was just kind of kitty-corner to where we were. And on that chair, there was my grandfather. Now, I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, so I don't know if it was how he looked to me, or the fact that it was him there. I didn't have the closest to him, so it wasn't like I was conjuring him up in my head. And I was a kid. But I do remember looking over there, and I was it actually scared me. I had a kind of a funny feeling inside me, because I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because of the, if it was because of seeing him, or how he looked to me. Could I see through him? I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that there's something about him that didn't sit right with me. So I just kind of stared at him, and he didn't say anything to me. But all of a sudden, he stood up, and he reached out one hand to me, and I kind of drew back. I didn't want him touching me, and I just shook my head. I didn't say anything, I just shook my head. And he smiled at me, and he reached out with both hands, and I said, no, I don't want to. Well, when I did that, or actually when I said that, my grandmother, took notice that there was something bugging me, and she looked at me, she said, what's the matter? And I said, I don't want to go to him. Tell him I don't want to go to him. And she says, go to who? I said, Grandpa. She says, Grandpa's not here, Grandpa's gone. I said, no, Grandpa's right there. And I pointed right to him. And he smiled at me again. And he reached out one more time, and I said, no, I don't want to come to you. And I said, Granny, tell him I don't want to come to him. I don't want to go to him. That's what I actually said. And she looked in the direction I was looking, and she says, "Where is he?" And I said, "Right there. He's right in front of his chair. Don't you see him?" And she says, "No, I don't see him." I said, "He's there, and I don't want to go to him. He wants me to go with him." And so she says, "Lou, leave her alone. She doesn't want to go." And I closed my eyes. I remember closing my eyes. And then when I opened them again, he wasn't there. Now, as a kid, is that make-believe? Was it real? I don't know. He never reappeared to me again. That was the last time I ever saw him. It's the last time I ever saw him. But it wasn't the last time he came around. So I'm thinking that probably was real. I had no reason to think about him. I didn't miss him. I didn't really know him. I didn't see a whole lot of him, but I knew who he was. He didn't scare me as in, ooh, there's a ghost, I'm scared. He made me feel really uneasy. And I think it's because he wasn't talking to me. And, well, maybe the way he looked. Honestly, at this point, I don't remember for sure, but I do remember the experience. And it's something I won't ever forget. So, that was my first experience. And, you know, the beginning of many. But that one's it for now. So, believe it or not, or whether you're a believer or not, you never know. There's got to be something out there. There's got to be answers for this. Thanks for listening.